We're talking wheat management now with Dr. Brian Arnall, our OSU Extension Soil Nutrient Management Specialist. Brian, the wheat has really taken off these last couple of weeks.
It really has. It's enjoyed the moisture and it's enjoyed the warm weather, and we're really starting to see it pick up and grow rapidly.
In terms of management guidance this time of year, what kind of questions are you getting and what kind of answers are you providing?
So the big question is nitrogen management, because everything else is kind of nutrient-wise is already been done and decided. So we're really into the nitrogen management realm. When, how much, what sources. And what I'd say is that, you know, where we're at, we've got some of the bigger wheat. It's early planted in behind us. We've got some good biomass to it. It's growing rapidly. It needs nutrients. There's still a lot of wheat out there that was that really late planted wheat that's just now starting to take off. Both of them have time. The little wheat's got a little bit more. And so we still have opportunity to guide and gauge what the environment's giving us. And I say that because, you know, a lot of our research has showed that we can delay nitrogen until we get really good weather up to hollow stem or a little bit after. And that lets us say, okay, is it going to rain again, right? If it stops raining right now, we might have all the nutrients we need in the soil to get the crop that we're going to get with the moisture we have. But if we get another good rain chance coming, you know, the end of March, early April, that's a really good opportunity. It's like, all right, we're going to have more moisture, we're going to have more yield potential. Let's invest a little bit more into this crop to make sure that we can produce as much as we can.
How are things looking overall in terms of wheat quality and some of the challenges we had around planting time? How's that translating now when things are really taking off?
You know, if you drove around a couple weeks ago when it was still cold, a lot of the early planted stuff, you saw a lot of areas that were really hit hard with the winter kill and hit hard with abiotic stress. That's the drought and the heat and all the other things. We're starting to see that kind of liven up and starting to see what I'd say the mosaic patterns starting to fill in a little bit. We're seeing some of that fill in. On the wheat that I've been on that was a little bit later planted, we're hit and miss on our stand. Like some of the stands aren't just perfect. They're not bad, but they're not perfect. And so the wheat's starting to grow. The great thing about wheat is it can tiller, it can make up for the absence of stand by adding extra tillers in this next couple months and getting the yield. So overall, the wheat looks pretty good given the fall that we had, the late planted, the dry, and then really we've been quite cold, right? We're just now starting to warm up and the soil's starting to go.
What are the ideal conditions we need in terms of nitrogen application and weather conditions to get us to the finish line and have a great harvest?
So right now we really need a couple more rainfall events. That's for nitrogen, that's for grain yield. We still got some pockets that have missed the rains. I was up at the Kansas line around just south of Caldwell, Kansas, and it hasn't rained there in quite a while. Now there's at least soil moisture, but it's going to have some soil moisture. If we want to apply nitrogen, we're definitely going to need some rainfall to incorporate that nitrogen, right? So we need a couple rainfall events that we usually get in April. If we get those April, May rainfall events, you know, in a season that we need fungicide, because that means we have moisture that allows the pathogens to grow well. So we need that year that we're going to have to spray fungicides. And then as we get into grain fill, we need the temperatures to be cool. We need that greenhouse effect. We need it to warm up but not be 90 degrees. And we need some decent humidity so that those berries can fill to their full potential. We can get all that and get all the grain we can out of it.
You have a lot of fact sheets. The Topdress one would be really relevant this time of year.
Yeah, definitely check out the fact sheets. We've got a lot of fact sheets on top dressing, about sensors, about using the enriched strips right now, which is still an opportunity. So we do have a lot of information through the OSU fact sheets.
Let's switch gears now and talk about corn for just a little bit. It's really time to already start thinking about spring crops.
Absolutely. A couple of the early birds have been rolling. I've seen a few planters dropping some seed in the ground. It's a little early for me, but you know, we're really making those plans. And so right now there's a lot of folks that already put out their pre-plant nitrogen for corn, added their phosphorus, but you know, so now we're in the decision, am I going to do in furrow? That means that fertilizer with the seed, how much. And a lot of that is still dependent upon soil tests. And so there's still a week or two available before you really have to start going. Make sure you know where your soils are at. Have your old soil test or something. If your phosphorus or pH is a little off, make sure you have some phosphorus in furrow. Got some great opportunities and options as far as products we can use for that are cost effective, that get the job done. So just make sure that corn crop has a good start, and that it's not so much nitrogen, it's really about the phosphorus for me to get that good corn start.
And then right on the heels of corn, talking about the other spring crops, what kind of guidance do you have there?
Yeah, we've got, right after corn, now we're dropping soy, sorghum, and cotton in. It's very much the same. Let's take care of the big things, make sure that the seed's in good soil moisture, you get good planting, and you have that phosphorus and the potassium and the elements it needs in place so that crop has a really good start and can take off.
And you update content on your blog pretty regularly.
Absolutely, and we've got some new blogs out. One is about inoculant soybean that Dr. Lofton wrote, and I've got a blog that was also recently released about nitrogen and sulfur applications in wheat.
Lots to talk about, as usual. Brian, great to see you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And for a link to the fact sheet that Brian mentioned, as well as his blog, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.